Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Welcome back, guys. We hope that you had a enjoyable, long holiday weekend, especially. I guess the Europeans didn't get Friday off, but the Americans did. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy having that extra time to yourselves with your family. Hopefully away from charts, because this price action has just been beyond awful on a lower time frame. But welcome, guys. I'm Snorlax. You also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Big Louie, Prometheus, Jackus, and of course, Max. Welcome to you guys as well. We're here to talk about another week of markets with you all. So we're going to be bringing the alpha. We're going to be bringing our thoughts on where we think markets are going to be trading, not just today and tomorrow, but throughout the week, throughout the month. And any exciting developments that this market potentially has in store for us as well. But before we can get too deep into that, you guys should know the routine at this point. I'm going to ask you to hit the like button. You're probably going to refrain from hitting the like button until we pull up a soybeans chart. I'd like to skip the second step, though, entirely. If you guys want to just go right to the part where you hit the like button, we would be very appreciative. And of course, we're going to always do our best to cook some alpha for you guys as well. But let's get into the markets. Let's talk about kind of the way things are trading right now. I mean, I think we're opening a little bit red here to start the week in equities. I mean, we're down about 0.5%. Crypto bleeding a little bit after we had a pump on Sunday night. Stop me if you've heard that before. Sunday night pump, retrace on Monday. I guess we'll see kind of more so what we get throughout this week. I do think obviously we all know that these high time frame contextual indicators for crypto, potential tailwinds for equity markets, they're all kind of coming together, right? The dollar, fundamental catalyst, technicals aligning as well. We just haven't quite gotten that push higher. I think it's probably just a matter of patience at this point. Maybe we have a few days or maybe even another week, God forbid, of this chop. But I do think when I look at things like the Ethereum chart, even the Solana USD chart, guys, they look to me like they're getting ready to make a move up. Maybe in July, maybe August. But I do think that that's something that's likely coming soon. Bitcoin, it's still just kind of compressing at range highs. I long for the day where I don't have to open the show talking about Bitcoin doing exactly that, but that's what it is. I do think we're coiling ultimately for another move. The question has continued to be, is that going to be a move up, or is that going to be a move down? I think the context that we're seeing in altcoins is pointing that that's most likely to be up. And I think that's equities, or where equities are pointing as well. I want to say the dump today is kind of a result of Tesla being down like 7% at the open. We won't be talking about, Elon Musk on this show, but obviously he's gotten into some shenanigans over the last few days as well. But those are my opening thoughts, guys. I'd love to know how we're seeing the market right now, what we think about July, which has yet to, we try to pick alliterations for these months, right? Like MXC May, obviously June wasn't quite so joyful. Will July be joyful? Jackpot, I think I've seen Max use on X. Or will it be, I'm sure you could come up with another adjective to talk about bearishness, but I can't think of one off the top of my head.
Juicy.
What do we think, guys, about the market?
Jeet Fest July is what it's called. Okay.
I think Bitcoin's doing what it's always done, We're right on schedule here as far as the cycles are concerned, right? And I know there's an argument and to be had of Bitcoin versus crypto cycles. Are they still a real thing? Are they not a real thing? Are they going to continue to follow this trend? Are they not? And markets are forever changing and adapting and morphing. So it's something to be aware of. But just looking, right, this is just a simple time-based measurement of the Bitcoin cycles for the last 8 years, 8 to 12 years, right? You know, from Pico bottom to Pico high for the last 2 market cycles for Bitcoin, you know, relatively the same amount of time, right? Relatively the same amount of time. 2017 bull run from Pico Schmico low to absolute high, just around 1,070 days. 2021 bull market, Pico low to, you know, Pico high, your second all-time high, run of the highs. Again, just around 1,066 days, a couple days shorter than the previous. And again, once again, you know, just measuring a simple time-based measurement from when we had the FTX lows back in 2022, which feels like a distant memory at this point. You measure that out somewhere along the lines of this time horizon, right? 1,070 days, 1,060 days, whatever it may be. You know, Bitcoin has room to run and it has time on our side right now. So if you just block out the noise, right? Put on a high time frame chart, throw it in log, throw on some EMAs, you could just see that Bitcoin's in a high time frame uptrend. Wherein, however, you know, most people are invested in altcoins. What I would say is altcoins really don't see the juice or trending moves or trending upside until you get that last, you know, more or less parabolic leg for Bitcoin. So although Bitcoin has had a nice move off the lows and we've been trending higher over time, we really haven't seen the parabolic part yet, which I believe is coming next after the you know, the 4 to 5 month consolidation we've seen. And that's what we need, right? We need Bitcoin and price discovery and to put in that last final leg. Whether it's the final leg or not, I don't know. But I do know it'll, if we do enter that last move or this move, which I think is coming, you know, that's going to put us closer to altcoins beginning to trend, right? And that's what everyone wants. So just looking at this chart, you know, we're riding the, you know, our 10-day EMAs beautifully. I would say more similarly to the 2017 market versus the 2021, right? Like we tested in 2017, we tested, you know, these EMAs multiple times on the way up, and we took many pit stops along the way compared to 2021, where once you got going, you pretty much went straight up, right? So I would compare this more to 2017, where we have tested these EMAs multiple times along the way up. You know, this being our third time, you know, similar to here, 1, 2, 3. Funny enough, the last time we kind of came close to or at these EMAs was in July of 2017, before you kind of entered that last parabolic leg for Bitcoin. Right now, sitting 2025 of July, you know, testing these EMAs for the third time with time on our side, just a couple months left in this, you know, this one way to measure the Bitcoin cycle. I'm expecting this, you know, trend to start get steeper and steeper, enter this last part of the bull, you know, the bull market for Bitcoin. And this will give us what we want in our altcoins. And you just have to be super patient in getting that. So I would say business as usual if you zoom out and block out all the noise. There's my rant.
Good rant. Check rant, good rant.
Man, I remember trading the FTX. Sorry, Jackus. I bet you were about to cook. I was just kind of reminiscing about. I mean, Louis was right. It does feel like such a distant memory that FTX blew up, and I remember trading actively that day. I think I was kind of like walking through plans with Max over text. And there was just all that crazy volatility because CZ acquired FTX and then didn't actually acquire FTX. And you got this huge squeeze on Bitcoin that completely retraced and nuked. It was a wild day, but it really does feel like a distant memory at this point, doesn't it?
It does.
Kind of feels like yesterday.
I remember it pretty well. It was definitely terrifying, but also entertaining at the same time. I like what Louis had to say. It's just this market is, man, who's ever pulling the strings deserves the electric chair. Like, I just can't believe these criminals, man. It's like not even Chop, man. Calling this Chop would be insulting to Chop. Like this is it's horrible. I don't know who's doing this. I want them strapped to the electric chair with a wet sponge on their head, and that's what they have coming to them, man. It's terrible, but I really think it's only so long until we just start launching. There really couldn't be a much better backdrop. I mean, I don't have to tell you guys, and we talk about this every day, but it's like you are seeing the perfect setup for hire across the board, man. Like everything is lining up. I mean, even going as far as Trump got his big beautiful bill passed or whatever, which lowers corporate tax rates back to kind of where they were in 2017, which will lead to higher, multiple valuations for equities, and we're going to continue to see equities probably rip from here. The Russell looking good, DXY looking weak, small cap crypto companies or stocks starting to perk up a little bit. And it's like, okay, guys, okay. Like, you're telling me we can't launch like the true beta already? And here's the thing about ETH too, is it's like, look at the stablecoin developments that we've seen over the past month, right? Like, what's the stablecoin market cap right now? Is it like
250 bill?
250 billion? Like, that market cap is not like ETH.
It's not 2
market
trillion
cap,
yet.
ETH
Trillions.
What's that?
It's not 2
trillions are
trillion
coming.
yet. Scott
ETH
Bessent
market
said
cap is not high enough to even come close to supporting the stablecoin market cap and what it's going to likely be with all this new stablecoin adoption. So it's like a lot of these large institutions are going to become forced buyers of ETH if they really want to build their stablecoin rails on ETH. So I don't know, man. I mean, look at this chart, man. Like, what the fuck am I looking at? This is obscene. Like, I go back to what I started with, electric chair, bring it out.
It's a high time frame predatory accumulation before expansion by design. And I'm with you, Max. This has sucked. This has, I'm pretty resilient to crappy market conditions and staying optimistic. But it's just, there's no sugarcoating. It's been horrible trying to catch a trending move in this altcoin market, right? While all other markets are having a grand old party, it seems. But I think, this does end in a bang, right? I think we do end up having a last laugh. Just sadly, we go last, right? It's just we're the last on the risk curve and we go last. And what I think we've been experiencing and why it's been so painful and it is a classic, and I'm not a big Wyckoff guy, but I do like to explore ideas and theories and use all different types of trading methods and stuff like that. I really do believe the last year and a half, 2 years has just been a massive accumulation of Ethereum, right? And also leading to altcoins. I mean, just looking at this chart, I mean, sure, it's not identical, but it's pretty damn close, right? It's pretty damn close. And we'll find out soon enough if this is actually what's playing out, and we'll know because ETH has to get on its horse. ETH has to make a move, in my opinion. We shouldn't really be messing around this area of the lows, of range lows, too much longer. We've got back inside the range after deviating the lows. We've now since retested and flipped that into support, holding it beautifully. This is a 3-day candle close. This is something I talked about in the Discord. Beautiful, 3-day, doji candle, right where you wanted to see it, confirming and reclaiming and recapturing range lows. We should start to see, in theory, ETH start a move, and the move will not be forgiving, right? In my eyes, this move will not be forgiving. It's not going to grant many pullbacks. It is going to be quick. It is going to be a quicker move once we kind of get out of this consolidation we're in right now. Currently working through all this supply, reclaiming the range. Once we exit this phase, I believe it's going to pull an ETH-like move. Boom, right? Boom. Like how quick we go from range lows to range highs. But we need to get through this phase But this is just something I've been looking at and, theorizing on, just something I've been keeping an eye on. And I think it's very interesting. And, these accumulations are supposed to be painful for retail, right? That's exactly what the big money wants. Institutions, they want retail to give up, to lose hope, all the while, they panic sell into big money bids. That's what I think we saw
Louis,
here.
I got one question for you, man. How would you respond to me saying one more sweep of the low?
Jack has posted the meme, so I can't take credit, but it's like Pulp Fiction. He's like, "Say what again?"
Yeah.
Say it again. I dare you. Right? There's no more sweeping the lows. If we sweep the lows again, Bitcoin and crypto are cooked for a couple months at a minimum, 3 months, I'd say.
I think you framed it perfectly, Louis.
Yeah, we've done our sweeps. Everything's in place, like you said. The backdrop is perfect. There's no sweeping the lows. If we begin to sweep the lows again, we're just not going to be getting what we
all
think
I'm
is
asking
coming.
for is one more sweep. That's it. Like you're being dramatic. Just one more sweep of the low. I'm not asking for two.
Yeah.
One more sweep of the low.
I mean, with this current market conditions, I mean, it sounds about right. But I mean, Louis, you framed it perfectly. Like ETH is the Trojan horse right now in the current asset class. And if you study history, and if history is any indication of what's going to happen, if you look at Great Britain and China's trade deals, a millennia ago, Great Britain traded, not a millennia ago, but like 300 years ago, Great Britain traded opium for gunpowder, right? And that's what the market makers are doing to the current asset class, right? They're giving everybody pump fund. They're giving everybody the bonk launch pads, get in the trenches, destroy your capital base, while they can acquire the real gold and the real value, the real commodity. And eventually people will believe in the tech again. I talked about that and I harped on that this morning in the Discord call, was that forest through the trees, ETH is going so much higher, right? We talked about the $2 trillion Scott Bessent's estimation price prediction of the stablecoin market cap at 2 trillion, and it's only 250 billion. That's a 10x from here. Where are stablecoins minted at? They're minted on Ethereum, right? ETH is the base. It is the foundation for the future, whether people want to accept it or not. And I think that's going to be a really hard pill to swallow for the people for the people whose first cycle is this cycle, right? And the markets move within waves, and due to this market being, the purest form of a free market that we have, I do think that it's going to fluctuate back towards that tech driven kind of narrative, right? And once we move back towards once the market really realizes where the real money is to be made.
Yeah, I think like when I look at the ETH chart, I less view it in the sense like, okay, we're probably going to V recover right back to all-time highs immediately. I think it's going to probably be a slow burn back up to the all-time highs. And then, I mean, it's like Jackus has said, when 4K is flipped, you're going to see ETH really start to outperform. Until then, it might be a bit of a slog, but I think the important thing is that ETH and SOL continue to move higher. It really doesn't matter what is outperforming as much as the fact that, like, okay, these assets are grinding back to range highs. And at that point, it'd very much be kind of like what was the a beach ball underwater. I mean, that's the phrase that people love to use. I kind of feel like that's what ETH is on a higher time frame. It will probably take time to play out, but eventually that beach ball is going to come to the surface, and when it does, I do think you're going to get that huge outperformance. ETH Bitcoin is an interesting conversation too. With that said, I've kind of been going back and forth, obviously, about, I think Bitcoin dominance will probably go higher, but I'm not a bear necessarily on ETH BTC. So it's kind of like this interesting framework I have mentally on the market. I kind of feel more and more like ETH Bitcoin bottom is actually in on a high time frame macro level. We'll see what that means for Bitcoin dominance. I don't think that you're going to see ETH Bitcoin necessarily rip face in 2025, but in 2026, I think you'll probably begin a meaningful uptrend. Maybe after like a high time frame double bottom sort of structure on ETH BTC.
Tommy, where do you think ETH BTC is at by, let's just pick a random date? I don't know, October 1st. It could be any date, but October 1st. Any date. Just pick one.
Probably around like the same price, honestly. I mean, I kind of feel like you're going to see ETH BTC trade. I feel like you're going to see ETH BTC trade in a range until 2026 between the current lows and then like 0.03, give or take.
Say the same price as it is one more time. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Don't say.
So what you're saying is maybe one more sweep of the low and then we can move up.
I don't
No
think
more
we're going
range. No more sweeps.
I'd be really surprised if we broke the low on ETH BTC. It's just going to keep making.
You're gonna win, Max. It's just gonna go like that.
Louis, do you want to make a bet of my bet then? Do you want to be
Should
the
we put
derivatives?
Synthetic CDO.
Yeah, should we put derivatives on this?
No, I'm gonna let you guys deal with that. I'm just gonna stay sidelined.
All right, look, Tommy, I'll let you out of the bet right now for chicken. Okay, no steak.
Chicken.
Yeah, chicken.
Wait, what's the bet again? Where do you need to get above
If
before?
ETBTC gets above 0.06, just needs to tag 0.06 by end of September, then Tommy owes me an immaculate steak dinner with wine, dessert, the whole thing, right? The whole 9 yards. But I'm going to win the bet. And here's the thing, I know I'm going to win the bet. He doesn't. So I would let him out right now as an early concession to me if he buys me a chicken dinner, not steak. Because I'm trying to be nice. He's my friend, you know?
You need this move right here.
Yeah, no, I'll get that move. That's coming. Yeah, that's coming for sure.
I'm not even a bear on ETH USD for the record. I think we probably move to like 3,200 fairly soon. I actually think that's like a July thing, but I think outperformance, like Jackus has said, it probably won't happen until ETH crosses 4K, and then it's going to happen obviously over a pretty short period of time. But I don't think that
need, like, it's so simple. Like, all I need is just for one power player, like, I don't know, let's just say like Eric Trump to just tweet something bullish about ETH, you know, like just one guy. Like, if I could just get like Eric Trump to just be like, good time to buy ETH, I feel like that would work, you know, and like we would pump. But I'm just waiting for like just that one moment, you know, like maybe if someone could step in and help, you know, like Eric just comes to mind randomly, you know, like could have been anybody, but
best I can do is Tom Lee.
What's that?
Best I can do is Tom Lee.
Dude, that's not good. I mean, if you're not hitting 100R scalps in this range, how could you call yourself a trader, I guess? You know, it's like, I know for me personally, like I've just been, I mean, I've retired in this range, like every day 100R setups on the weekend, especially. Yeah, at the New York Open. But dude, especially on like a Saturday and Sunday, like there's just like the trading conditions on Saturday and Sunday, like the accumulations that I've seen and the distributions I've seen are just they're too easy, bro. You know, it's
Are we not on the screen right now?
No, we're not. I don't know who clicked that button, but we can bring ourselves back here.
I will say I've kind of noticed like two things about this range behaviorally, and maybe you guys can relate. The first is that for one, I've become a lot more comfortable with trading this crab on a lower time frame, expecting kind of like what it's going to do, even as choppy as it is. I feel like I have a good idea of when we're going to pull back, when we're going to bounce. Then the second thing is that alts are becoming harder to short. Just like little lower time frame strength that we're seeing on some of these assets that are beginning to look bottomed, and we're seeing strength, I think, from specific altcoins as well, like Bonk, that are showing us that the market could be ready to trend. XRP is another one that Louis got up on screen. I feel like when usually those two things start to happen, we're getting close to a trend. because I feel like those are usually things that we see at inflection points, specifically the first one, right? When we become kind of confident, like overconfident with the crab, like, oh, altcoin squeezed, I'm going to short that. And when that becomes a lot less forgiving, obviously, is usually when we reverse.
Can you guys help me out real quick? I don't know why this is happening. Like, why is this popping up? And how do I get rid of it?
Maybe you're pressing some keyboard.
No, nothing new.
Right click on your chart.
It's popping up for me now too.
Go
It's a new
settings.
feature.
I would do scales and lines maybe or something like that.
It might be a right click thing.
Do this. Right click on your Y axis. Go labels. Down. Do you have any like? Dude, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's so annoying. I'll try to figure it out. It's like literally just started this
Louis,
morning.
Have you tried to unplug and plug back in?
Should I give the mouse the old?
That's why Jackets gets paid the big bucks, man. He's a thinker. Yeah.
All right, so it's not just me. It seems like other people are experiencing. Maybe it's like a trading view thing.
Yeah, I think it's a new feature.
No better time for a shitty update than right now. Perfect. What would I do without
Every
the tech
single
box
time?
doing?
Every
I'm so
single
glad
time
I
you
can
call
see
a
the highs and
support,
lows.
have you tried to unplug and plug back in? Like,
I'm not
bro.
even kidding. My 6th grade math teacher, I'm not even kidding. He told me, he's like, yeah, whenever I have a problem with my computer, best way to fix this, you just hit it. He would literally just walk up to his PC tower and he would just hit his tower and he'd be like, and it would fix it. And he'd be like, I told you it fixes it.
That's literally from the movie Armageddon with Bruce Willis. If you saw that one, I know it's an oldie, but he literally goes there and like, I believe that quote became famous and so many people started to use it after, just as an excuse to hit things.
XRP looks ready to go.
All right,
XRP
wait. Prometheus, can you actually kick ETH? Maybe that will help.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I forgot. Somebody needs to bonk ETH.
So I should
What's your guys'
unplug ETH.
I know. Unplug it, plug it back in. Get a little hard reboot. What's your guys' thoughts on the new like bonk ecosystem going on Sol right now?
Yeah, let's take a look, Bonk.
Well, I don't have as much of an opinion on the ecosystem necessarily, because I think it's just kind of shenanigan back and forth between Pump Fun and Bonk, and we'll see who wins. But I like the look of Bonk token. I feel like if you get an early week pullback, it's probably a good spot to bid for continuation.
It's almost as if you just have to bid the lows on these altcoins. I mean, beautiful bounce here, right off the lows, right here. This is the basement. It's almost as if you just buy crappy looking altcoins in the basement. You have a good shot of catching a move. You know,
Why is
it's
Bonk
crazy.
looking like ETH?
There are a lot of coins that look like that, man.
Oh, like the range,
like-
and you lose the range back inside.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's literally the same chart.
It also looks like a lot of these meme coins that are like have had. I mean, this probably isn't the full chart, but like had the big run and have just been pretty much ranging for over 2 years now, right?
Mhm.
And just kind of putting in these, every now and again you get a pump, but then it's a lot of this, it's a lot of this. But ultimately, a lot of these structures, I think, are going to be your base, right? Your bases before the right ones, right? The right ones. Maybe Bonk's one of them. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But showing some signs of strength. But stuff like Pepe, stuff like Andy, a lot of them have been in 1.5, 2 year ranges like this, which I think, which is hard for people to fathom, because it's the only chart we have. But looking at them at a higher time frame basis of like a swing trade, like a multi-year swing trade, these could ultimately end up just being the accumulation bases before heading into a massive, bull run on these altcoins. And looking back, it would have been obvious. It'd be, oh wow, that was obviously, the accumulation range. And obviously you should have been buying anytime you got an opportunity at the lows. But until this happens, and this is the only chart you have, it kind of doesn't feel like that. It feels like, wow, this was the big run. I missed it. I should have sold profits, and now this is going to zero. But in like this.
Here's the thing about this chart, Louis, too, is like you don't really ever see one large cap move alone, and the other ones don't follow very soon after.
Yeah.
True.
I think Bonk has led before, if I'm not mistaken. Right? I'm not a big follower of Bonk.
2023. Yeah, back in end of 23. And that looks a lot like the XRP chart we just had pulled up too. And I mean, even if you aren't playing for a range break, even just playing it to range highs is a great RR trade. Yeah, it's a great trade.
Bonk reminds me of some Doge price action from last year. Maybe you guys can relate. But that Doge price action from like the first probably I guess basically the entirety of 2024.
We traded that.
I feel like it could be coiling for a move like that. I mean, how many altcoins have real tangible catalysts right now? I don't know. I don't think majors are going to put in a move like that, but I could definitely see a handful of beta do that, right? Like the ones that have a consistent bid.
Yeah, absolutely. Things that have consistent bid, things that are hot off the press, on everybody's mind, have the recency bias. You talk about that liquidity valve, Tommy. We get BTC and price discovery. You're going to see some things fly. It's, I mean, it's just what happens. And, we might not see what everybody's hoping for from a 21 style, alt season in the short term, but BTC and price discovery inevitably is going to lead to some alts putting in massive moves. It's only
not just that, but I feel like ETH and Sol in a proven uptrend, like that reignites on-chain.
It does.
Appetite.
It really does, especially with ETH. Imagine ETH 2 back at 4K, like how nutty things are going to get, right? It just, I mean, it goes to show if you look at the ETH chart and you like pair that versus Total 3, and when ETH has those big legs up, even when we saw it move off the lows, right? A lot of alts flew. So any move off the majors is bullish our bags.
I feel like if ETH just consolidates near 4K, we're probably going to have a crazy on-chain season when that happens.
Oh yeah,
guys, have you heard about Pengu? I keep have people asking me about it.
Yeah, it's the it's like the Pudgy Penguin NFT. It's like their NFT token, I guess now.
They're getting an ETF.
Yeah.
Dog, what?
Study crime.
We're getting a Pengu ETF before a Doge ETF. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, they applied for an NFT ETF, and Pudgy Penguins were in it.
Study crime.
I don't even know what to say to that. I'll be honest.
I could do something like that.
I will say what you have to be careful of with this specifically, and I mean, it might be something similar to Hyperliquid where a majority of the airdrop supply is out at this point, but this was a huge airdrop for the system. And you do have to be mindful of, especially with this chart and this ticker, that you probably start pressing back up into range highs. There's going to be a little bit of selling pressure. But people are really bullish on it. I know DK in the Discord has been talking about it for quite some time. I'm not super up to date with the ecosystem or really what's going on there. But I mean, the chart looks decent, right? It has nice structure off the lows and trending back to bullish market structure. So.
Yeah, I suppose.
I know it's getting a lot of AOL interest right now.
A lot.
I don't really have any thoughts on the chart necessarily, but what is the market cap of this coin? Just curious. Let's see if I can do market cap.
I'm pretty sure it IPO'd at like, or not IPO'd, but I'm pretty sure they launched it at like 4 bill, 3-4
It's
bill.
basically at $1 billion.
Yeah.
It's at $1 billion.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, this will probably, I imagine, go higher, but I don't know if I think it's gonna like rip up parabolically, right? It'll be like one of those slow burn KO, like an Ondo, which probably goes up a few multiples over a few months and then bleeds to zero again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry if I'm fudding your bags.
Well, I don't see you getting attacked in the comments, so I suppose it's all good.
I haven't talked about Sol yet, so if I do that, the comments will attack me.
It will go from, oh no, my cat is attacking me, to, oh no, the comment section is attacking me.
I mean, I think the Sol structure looks a lot like ETH, though, too. I will say. And if I think that ETH USD is getting set to go higher, I feel like I have to assume that Sol is getting ready to do the same. I think underperformance against Bitcoin and ETH will probably, it might take a little bit more time, but it is coming. But I can't view Sol USD going up as a negative for the market at the same time.
Still bearish on Sol East, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Sol BTC. But I think Sol BTC is getting set to give a bounce here in the next few weeks.
Seems to me like Sol BTC will just continue that downtrend it's in, and I don't see why it would be stopping anytime soon. I feel the Sol BTC rally, the big one, will once again comes at the end of the cycle, like a complete end, because I feel all of the CT degens have been totally drained in the past year or two, and there is no more. Like, the purpose Sol serves is to be a chain for the gamblers, and it's serving that really well, and it will forever keep its, in my opinion, position like that. But I feel right now so many market participants are drained and exhausted, and so I think it will take time before people get rich again, so that they can hyper gamble their wealth again away.
No, I agree. I don't know what Sol on chain is going to look like going forward. I will say, I mean, I agree with you, Jack. I said it'll be about meme coins and just speculative degen casino. I wonder if the coins that are pumping will look different than they did, a year ago, and kind of what that means for some of these Sol large cap memes, like a Whiff, a Trump. I know we haven't talked about Whiff on this show in a really long time. I mean, Bonk to me though is kind of like the Solana Pepe. So I have I feel like if you're bullish on Pepe, if you're bullish on Sol and ETH, you kind of have to be bullish on Bonk as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I know Wabi was talking about some of the newer on-chain coins for Sol, I think, on his stream yesterday. A new cat coin. Bonk is still the dog coin. I know everybody seems to be really fond of Launch Coin. What do you guys think of that ticker, by the way? Because I'm kind of going back and forth on what I think about it.
I thought about it quite a bit. The whole internet capital markets narrative it's really interesting. I know there were some tickers that had real products that were actually used. I know one in particular was used quite a bit by like interior design specialists for staging houses for listings, which is kind of cool. I have a tough time personally with older narratives being able to bring back that froth from the standpoint if they did not come out in the markets when we're entering price discovery on BTC. Typically what we've seen is older narratives that aren't, fresh off the press when BTC is entering into price discovery, them tend to, lag a little bit, right? And it's not something that I'm particularly super excited on, like jumping on board. If we start to see liquidity and mind share pick up on it again, I'll happily, dive back into the ecosystem. I like the narrative. I like the tokenization of RWAs. I like the whole, implementation that I think the market's shifting more towards in regards to, that tech narrative and thesis I've been talking about. I still think we're a ways away from it getting to the point to where we're drawing in, fresh liquidity from outside of the sector, which I believe will be something that is going to be a really solid driver for the market, similar to what AI was. When the AI narrative spun up, it was fresh, it was hot off the press. BTC had just entered price discovery post inauguration or after November 6th, and AI went berserk, right? And it brought in a lot of new money, a lot of new liquidity into the sector. And I think that we could have something similar in that fashion shape up yet again. So I'm keeping my eyes alive on chain right now and for new narratives.
Speaking of, seems like Fetch is entirely cooked to me by looking at the chart. Your thoughts, guys?
Fetch. There are a lot of coins, man, that just look like they are never coming back.
Fetch looks
Or
like
if they do, they just keep giving us like these smaller and smaller pumps on USD because they're emitting supply. I will say one VC coin I'm kind of interested in at current prices. You guys are going to laugh at me. What's the most VC scam that you can think of? Well, maybe not like the most, but one of the most that had a great run. Looks like it's bleeding to zero right now. But I actually think we'll begin to carve out a bottoming range now.
That sounds like Polkadot, but I don't think you mean that one.
It is not Polkadot. Somebody in the comments got it. It is yeah, I mean, it's Celestia. I actually don't hate the look of that chart right now. I mean, obviously, I don't want to bid a falling knife that is literally bleeding to zero right now, but I kind of feel like it's at a spot where we could see some consolidation form.
Oh man, Tommy.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
I mean, I could see the consolidation. I mean, from a multiples perspective, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, we're below the listing price, which is crazy.
The reason I bring it
And
up,
VCs are still selling at a profit.
the reason I bring it up
still up 100x.
is because Jump is back in the order books. I think it's and I think the rest of the supply ends up unlocking here over the next few weeks and months. So it makes sense that we probably see it start to bottom. I would not bid until you see sideways price action, obviously, because the chart is, I mean, it's heinous. It's heinous. But if you start sideways price action at some point into the end of this year, I feel like it's worth accumulating some, because if Jump is back and they're market making these VC coins, I mean, I could just as easily see them run back the INJ playbook in 2022 and 2023. And if you guys look at the way that traded after April 2021, I think it drew down like 95, 98% and then revisited new highs. So, I mean, if Celestia were to do something like that, that's a great trade.
Yeah.
It could, but how do you play? Do you just buy now and hope
No.
for the best?
I'm not. No, I'm waiting for some sideways price action. Any sideways price action at all to me would kind of confirm that the bottom is probably being put in. I don't think that you'd get another fake out in the same way that you did looking at the chart towards the end of 2024.
I kind of hate these playbooks from the market makers, not gonna lie, because like there's few charts who look exactly like Celestia, and then they randomly pump, 600, 1000, 10,000%, and you're like, fuck, I want to buy that one and just, finally catch a pump like this. But what people don't realize is that for every single chart there is like that, there is like 50 other who just keep on bleeding perpetually and they never have that, big pump. And so there really isn't much. It's just, you just gotta kind of say, yeah, the cartel is doing cartel things, and there wasn't much to do about that.
I kind of feel like it could make maybe one more stab down, just looking at the chart right now, but I guess you could have said that for the last like year and a half and been right. But you're right, Jackus. I mean, this is kind of like quintessential. This is what big players that are very well capitalized in crypto have done before, where you just dump all your unlocks, you bleed retail to zero and make them capitulate, and you scoop up the coin at next to zero cost basis and pump it again.
Yeah.
We got
Many such cases.
I think we lost Louis.
I think we did.
Meat sticks.
What is it? What's the like button looking like today?
Probably horrible, as
Some
usual.
chat. Let me take a look. Oh man. Yeah, you guys need to hit the like button. Come on, guys. We're not even at 100 likes today. If Louis were here, he'd be showing the soybeans chart. This, I'm glad you pulled this coin up, Prometheus, because I think this is one of the better looking charts in the market.
Really?
It kind of looks like a bearish retest at the moment.
It looks manipulated as shit.
Yeah, it does. It looked great this morning.
Yeah, and rejection off that supply 8 out of the last 14 days, zoomed out on the high time frame. We look at it. I mean, what a monster move it had off the lows. I mean, really, really strong move we had off the lows. And I look at this chart specifically, and I can't look at this and not see complacency, like in a way. I mean, sure, if the market goes up, it'll drag it up, but this just looks like a nasty underside retest to me of that supply region.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we could see some early week downside for alts, but I'm not really expecting anything like detrimental to market structures. I like that 140 level for Sol. Maybe we visit 2400 again on ETH.
Yeah, I could definitely see 2400 on ETH. Sol here to me is just, it's screaming help. And it's screaming help to Bitcoin in particular. It's one of those charts that ever since we had, post Melania Trump announcement has just been pretty ravaged, right? Pretty ravaged by the market. And, the market, I feel like, is kind of like coming to that realization finally with Solana in particular. Like, it's really not that like golden, doesn't have like that golden child shine anymore that it once did. If we look back, Solana was the barometer for risk on assets for the entirety of the cycle up until Trump got in office, and now it's really struggling to find some form of break to the bullish market structure. Had that massive rejection off of 180, the underside retest. I just like for Solana, for me, I just don't see where the like bullish rhetoric is behind it, where compared to where it once was, compared to where it once was in the market. So real quick too, I want to get your guys' thoughts on Ton. Did you guys see Ton and UAE announce a partnership where if you stake 100,000 Ton, you get a 10-year like golden visa?
I thought I saw something that they were saying that there's no visa, gold visa, but I don't know if it's specifically that one or just in general. Maybe then I don't know. But I saw something where they kind of said no golden visa, but I didn't say anything about Ton, so maybe that's still legit.
I saw it yesterday and I looked into it a little bit. I guess it's cool.
Max, did you consider?
What?
Did you consider?
I was more just like curious about if it was legit. It seems like it's a legit offering. But also it's like there's really no benefit. Like if, for example, like I was looking at it from the perspective of being like a US citizen, right? There's genuinely no advantage to doing it unless you wanted to just forfeit your US citizenship and just move to the UAE permanently. You could have dual citizenship and then have the right to like have a bank account there and own property there and stuff, but like you can't save on taxes as long as you're going to continue to keep your US passport because you get taxed anywhere. So yeah, it's just kind of like there's not really, unless you were just looking for a quicker route to being a UAE citizen. But that's besides that, that's the only reason. So like if you're living in Europe or the US, it's like there's really no like advantage to doing it. But if you were just like, oh, I really want to live in the UAE and, I didn't want to have to buy a bunch of real estate or something like that or wait 6 months for approval, then it appears like it's an expedited route. Maybe look into it just to make sure that like it is in fact a legit offering. It seems like it is, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, definitely. But as a US citizen, there's genuinely zero benefit unless you wanted to just give up your passport.
Which I'm good on that.
I'm probably good here. I got a family, got to settle down.
I mean, I think there's like maybe one other passport that's stronger than the US passport. US passport literally gets you about anywhere in the world you want to go. So
yeah,
I think we just tweeted out that it's not real. Our own account.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just tweeted out Ton staking visa launched through independent collaboration with licensed blockchain partner. No government endorsement granted by UAE.
Yeah. Okay. So
it was fake news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed a little bizarre to me.
FTB.
It seemed a little bizarre to me, honestly.
Yeah, I was like, Ton? I was like, really?
I'm like, why would they offer that? Like, why would they want what they're like? It seems like what they do is they offer to like wealthy investors or businessmen or people that like really contribute to their society is they offer them citizenship. And you have to make a sizable investment or contribution. And I'm like, what the hell is staking 100K of TON for 3 years going to do for them? Like, that was the part that I couldn't really understand when I saw it, but I was like, maybe they have big plans I'm unaware of, but yeah, I guess I'm not surprised to hear that it's fake.
Or they were in like a seed round, maybe.
Maybe.
Man, we're going to see this trend line get tagged here pretty soon.
It's crazy. This is the start of a new bear market, man. That's unbelievable that we're like here live while it's beginning. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this chart and it's just, this is a stablecoin dominance chart for everybody that's tuning in. But, I mean, this to me just looks like, I mean, you get maybe one more sweep of the highs, and then she's
So
down.
just to be
It's a
clear,
trend.
Prometheus, what you're actually saying is one more sweep of the low, but you're saying it inversely. Because
Yes,
one more
exactly.
sweep of the stablecoin dominance high is actually one more sweep of the crypto low. So I just want to be super clear that you weren't sneaky with what you just said. You called for one more sweep of the low.
Jackets, take care of him.
He know what he did.
I know what I did.
He thought he was being sneaky. No.
You just got
No.
Max exposed.
Bearmetheus.
Yeah, Prometheus.
You know. Dude, I'm like diving into the trenches right now, like trying to find the next 1000x.
What did you find?
He got liquidated.
Yeah, like, many
Max.
such cases. But seems like the latest topic from the trenches is the useless coin.
Yeah, that's hot. You have what Wabi's been talking about, like Icon and oh god, what's the other
Hosiko.
cat one? Yeah, Hosiko. Those. I mean, what Hosiko's like 70 mil, Icon's like 30 something.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know, man. It
hard
seems
for
like
me
the
to get excited
liquidity
about
is
these
getting
AOL memes.
it seems like the liquidity is just getting further and further, put everywhere. So I don't know. They seem to create more and more of a useless name, so they came up with useless. I do not know what's like topping that, right? Because it seems they came, they went from like dogs with hats to, to more silly dogs to things like, fartcoin, because it's like so stupid that it's so good. Now it's like useless, right? Useless is taking that spotlight. What's next?
It's like I was joking on Thursday, or Wednesday. These soul coins just have no soul. Man, they're just like, oh, it's funny because the coin is useless. We ran out of ideas, so it's supposed to be funny.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, you look at it too, like from a liquidity and perspective, and like how capital is able to push a coin. WIF went to like what, 4 bill, and then during the AI run up, where there's like a few names to like $1.5 billion, and now it's like the hottest names can't even push over 100 mil market cap. It's just like deteriorating.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. He was like,
Healthy.
good.
Good. The scammers are running out of influence, which is good. That means that it's a much healthier market. But yeah, I mean, we talked about this a long time ago, but there is an inevitable flight to quality that is going to occur when the real pump finally begins, which unfortunately we're entering a major, Great Depression style bear market right now. So it's going to be about 25 years before that happens. But, when that does eventually happen, you're going to see the legitimate names that have operated in good faith this entire time. They're going to catch the bid, and the scammers will try, and they'll launch, scam A, B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever. They're going to give free allos to the same goofballs who are just absolute clowns. Again, they're going to dump on you after it pumps to 200 million market cap. And then we're going to get a major flush again. So it's going to be the same exact thing we've seen before. But in the meantime, you're going to see that flight to quality, right? Like if your coin hasn't been catching any action since, ES right here has V recovered off that low. Like it doesn't even need to have sustained a pump, but like if it didn't catch any bid at all, oh my goodness. Wow. Look at that. then your coin's probably not going to, right? And your coin's not going to. Like the May action that we saw, May, June action, was the tell. If your coin didn't move during that action, it's not going to move. If it did move, you've got a good chance of making some money whenever crypto decides it wants to, do anything.
This is the real alpha. We break back above the cyclical range lows, SF or PO3 all day long. That's in confluence with Bitcoin breaking out. Money printer is just so on. I'm in the same camp as Max. Like if you saw, like you said, like if you saw your, ticker of choice move off the lows, that's what you love to see. And especially the stuff that's been through the ringer. If your ticker's been able to survive, through this hellacious price action we've seen, over the last 12 months, then, I don't see any reason why. Oh, looks like we lost Max. I don't see any reason why, you're going to find some nice multiples out of quite a few tickers in the market. I think this chart is just so primed for higher.
Can we watch like the minute time frame just so that we can still feel something?
Well, we're kind of dumping right now, so.
We got it on the 1 second. How's the like button?
It's probably not great.
Let's get those likes up.
It's a bear market for likes.
Okay, we got more than 50% on the like button. We got 240 people watching, 126 likes.
It's not bad.
I've seen worse.
The 1 tick chart.
Is the cure to male depression a gigantic bullish reversal?
Yes.
I feel like we get a reversal later this week. Probably keep flushing alts for another day or so. It's kind of the same playbook as last week, give or take. They had the squeeze, especially on Bitcoin. They had the squeeze. They push it all the way back up to the highs when you didn't think that they were going to do that. You squeeze out late bears, and you just bleed it. With altcoins obviously hurting worse, you set the weekly low, and then they pumped it. At least that's what they did last week. So I kind of feel like this week will be a fairly similar playbook.
Yeah.
We do have some liquidity on Bitcoin at around 107, 106. If we can't hold up here, I could see us taking a dip into there. But that should be one of the last little dips, in my opinion, before Bitcoin really gets going. But I could see that if we're going to start the week off selling off, I could see us coming there first.
Dude, leave it up to the market makers to pin us in a 0.1% range for the entire weekend, pump us Sunday night, sweep all the liquidity, run it up to the highs, reject, and then just Jeet fest it back down.
That's the kind of hell we are living in right now.
And people fall for it every time.
Fell for it again.
It's there's literally no point of watching weekend price action anymore. I've been saying that for a year now. It's pointless.
Step away.
Louis, what I learned is that the worse it gets, the more people zoom in.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, oh, this 1 minute demand level.
Literally.
Like people are making long-term portfolio decisions on weekend price action. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like weekend price action, crypto price action scammy enough, but weekend crypto price action is strictly crime. It's strictly crime.
I wish you guys were around during the BitMEX era. Weekends were so much fun. Now that
Dude,
we
I
are
wish.
now that we are a TradFi market is no longer fun.
Yeah, the mean reversion nature of the way Bitcoin trades now is just so disappointing. Man, I remember, I mean, you could chase momentum back in the day. I mean, I wasn't even around for BitMEX. It was obviously way scammier on weekends, but I feel like even in 2021, you could trust your eyes a little bit more with the structure and the momentum. It's like, oh, this is pointing towards lower pricing. Sure, it makes sense here. Instead, like now you just get, oh, you dumped 1,000 points. I'm going to immediately mean revert. Or, oh, you just pumped 1,000 points. I'm going to dump it right back to the point of origin. So you're just in this like hellish chop on a lower time frame.
Yeah, this has not been a scalper. I mean, you could say it is because you're getting these big moves and like immediate reversions, but at the same time, it's just been extremely tough to be trading lower time frames on leverage. It's just, but that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go.
You really have to be patient. I mean, you really have to be patient.
Yeah.
So you'll probably get that, you know, what in the past would be an exceptional entry. The chart will never see that pricing again. You'll probably see that like at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Before you actually get a trending move.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I put in 2 or 3 days worth of staring at price. I pinpointed the most premier entry. Weekend comes. Nope, that wasn't that premier. Yeah, I know that all too well. Yeah, most people are better off just buying spot altcoins and just waiting.
Yeah.
Just producing income, increasing income, stacking, keep bringing cash in as much as you can, however you can. Continue to stack altcoins or, at least high conviction altcoins or even just Bitcoin and ETH, whatever you want to do, and just wait. That's because the rest of it is just, it's a lot of stress. It's a lot of noise. It's a lot of nonsense designed to shake you and either extract your capital or shake you out of your positions before the big move happens. That's all this is. So,
Tommy, do you have any thoughts on gold here?
Let me take a look. Let me take a look.
I mean, it looks like it's consolidating a little bit.
Yeah. Gold going sideways is good. It's really good for
on it.
risk on.
Well, gold goes up, crypto goes sideways. Gold goes sideways, crypto goes sideways.
We've seen Bitcoin move, right? Bitcoin, I guess you could say, has been in a range, but on that last down move from gold, we've seen Bitcoin go from range lows to range highs. So Bitcoin's way more correlated, obviously. But I mean, I wouldn't step in front of this. This could easily just be consolidation before another parabolic low. I wouldn't step in front of this. But I don't know.
I mean, if the recession narrative is locally topped, then I think you can make a case that gold is also topped locally.
No,
speaking.
I agree. I totally agree.
That's the camp I'm in.
This gets scam higher first, on all the highs, and then top too at the same time. You just don't really know. But I'd love for this to be sideways to down and let some of that liquidity pour into Bitcoin, and then it's a facto ETH and altcoins afterwards. But
Yeah, I think gold. I don't think gold sees a big sell-off, just because the like geopolitical uncertainties with Donald Trump in office, and just the broader backdrop of that. But I mean, definitely some sideways price action here. At least a stab down to these range lows. Like you got a daily bear div printing.
Yeah, I kind of think this comes down.
Yeah.
Which would be good for Bitcoin. I mean, what do we know about the relationship between gold and Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
They typically don't rally together. It's a lot more typical to see like gold put in a move, and then when gold stops moving, Bitcoin will start moving.
Yeah. And the Bitcoin chart right now looks exactly like gold did in 2024, which is also very interesting.
Mhm. That was a
You'll
really
see.
nice chart you had, by the way.
Thanks. I was like,
Yeah,
I was just staring at the Bitcoin chart. I was like, where have I? Because like I know, like I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about, and a lot of it's because like just subconsciously I've just stared at so much price action over like the last 8 to 10 years. It's just like I know I've seen this before, but like sometimes it takes a while to kind of figure out like, okay, where have I seen this before? I kind of know how I'm feeling of how this is going to play out. And I was like, oh, that's it. It was gold. Because I remember trading gold back then because I was getting positioned in the gold miners. But yeah, the consolidation at the highs for gold in 2024, where once again, everyone was super bared up on gold because it looked as if it failed breakout, like it just wasn't going to go anywhere because it was in like a year and a half, 2 year long range. And then it's it's been on a monster tear since. So we'll see. Yeah. That consolidation right at that top right corner. Yeah. That's where I think Bitcoin's at.
yeah.
So
I mean,
we'll see.
Bitcoin has pretty much just been like, filling all of these downside inefficiencies that we form on the way up and progressively forming these higher lows while grinding up towards the highs. So, it looks, I mean, the compression looks bullish to me. Kind of don't think you want to lose last week's low, or you're rotating back towards what, like 102, 101K?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got to be a wick, like a flash dip of some sort. But yeah, no, I would agree. I think we kind of got to go from here again. Like maybe we dip into 106, 107. You got some liquidity there from last week. But I mean, I like the spot where we're at now. Looking lower time frame, if we could hold here, we're kind of sit. If you draw just like a normie descending trend line from the high down, we're kind of sitting if you like, you can massage it a little bit, but we're kind of sitting on top of it the way I have it drawn. Yeah. Kind of want to hold this area if you can. We could start to go right. If not, maybe a mini dip, into that 106, 107, run those weekend lows, run the Friday low. But we could just as easily go from here. If we could kind of hold this area and not start to cascade here. So, watching for that. But if we do start to, run the weekend lows, I could see 106, 107 first. But we need to see a higher low there for sure. So we'll see.
Yeah, Bitcoin starts to break levels of market structure. I mean, like Prometheus was saying, nothing's really gonna. Soul is kind of screaming out for help. I do think that's one reason, though, right? I mean, how many times have we had this conversation where, okay, like alts are at a must-hold level, or they're going to be in for a lot of pain? And I feel like nine times out of 10 this cycle, when that's been the case, it's been signal that Bitcoin and ETH were getting close to a bounce, typically.
Yeah. And I mean, too, I'm getting a lot of signal actually out of structures from altcoins specifically, like Doge, Pepe, XRP, to name a few, those like accumulation structures. And I look at those and I'm like, okay, if we really do like break down in a meaningful way on Bitcoin, like was it like the bear market? You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I'm like looking at that, and then I like zoom out to from a macro perspective where we're at from an institutional viewpoint, kind of where we're at in a regulatory stance, and things are really lining up and have been lining up, and I don't think that stops. Like the continuation of the importance on stable coins, which you talked about earlier in the show. It's just like I think we're still in that like infancy baby stage, and it's really interesting to me. Like everybody's so focused on degenning their net worths away on Solana. Like, when you have an asset class and tech in particular that it's paving the way for the future of finance, it truly is. I know it's kind of like a meme in the space, but I mean, there's going to be so much integration as we start to move forward over these next few years.
I think Sol's integration is going to be through mobile, like mobile crypto apps. I think we probably haven't quite hit, our peak, or Sol is unlikely to have already captured peak mind share for mobile crypto participation. But I do think that's a huge edge that it has right now. Zoomers coming into crypto. And I don't know what that looks like, but I do know that, okay, what chain, what coin makes it the easiest for users to not just be onboarded mobily, but also to trade, and it's Solana. I kind of feel like I have no idea when the timing is going to be, but I do think that UBI probably comes eventually as a result of AI, and it's probably going to be really bullish for things like Solana and Solana meme coins, but that's way down the road, I think. I hope.
Yeah, I see that future coming. People don't have the willingness to work or want to work anymore. Now we have AI that can replace a lot of these jobs. People would just have to be dependent on that UBI, but a lot of the population already kind of is, dependent on all these government programs and stuff like that. So I see it coming, right? I definitely see that future coming, and all that stuff is going to be run on the blockchain, likely, right? Those payment systems, those payment rails, they'll send you money, you don't spend it, they'll take it right back or burn it. It's definitely don't want to be in that situation where you're dependent on that. Right. So that's why there is a sense of urgency here as far as, if you are a young man or woman, getting ahead, right. And gaining that financial independence, because it's going to just increasingly become harder and harder. And that's, I see crypto as one of the few ways, crypto and investing in general, one of the few ways to kind of get ahead of that before it's too late. Not to go down like a deep rabbit hole here, but that's kind of how I view it. And I feel like this could be one of your last big opportunities to get in your foothold in a asset class that is about to emerge, right, and become a real thing as far as what the real world and the institutional money world views as legit. And that's why there is sort of a sense of urgency here. And that's why I've been here every day for the last 4 years dealing with all this garbage, because I know there is light at the end of the tunnel. And it's probably one of the only opportunities for life-changing generational wealth that will come in the foreseeable future. So it's worth it for me. Right? It makes sense.
Well, a lot of the time that you spend in crypto is usually going to be spent sitting on your hands. I think that's simultaneously the most frustrating and I guess rewarding part of being in this asset class or participating in it more actively. But yeah, sitting on your hands, managing downside risk when it arises. Those are kind of like the two big ones if you're going to survive here. Mortgage your house and buy shit coins. People will be doing that. Right now, people are only kind of
At
like,
the top.
yeah, I mean, right now people are only kind of debt financing Bitcoin purchases, but I imagine that will change. Eventually, Bitcoin's going to reach a price where, marginally the upside's going to be gone. If you are going to try and take out leverage or debt to hyper gamble your way to financial freedom, you're going to need to go for something that's probably going to provide you with more return on investment. So people will buy the next Bitcoin. And then the next ETH, and then the next Solana, and the next, who knows what we'll be dealing with when that happens. But I do think that froth will eventually arrive, here over the next few years.
All right,
agree.
guys. That takes us to the 80-minute mark. So, Tommy, you want to take us out, brother?
For sure. That's it for today's episode, guys. We hope that you enjoyed Market Check. A reminder that we are live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There is no second best YouTube live stream to talk about markets. But our typical start time is around 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard. Of course, we also have other shows and programming throughout the week. So make sure to check out Market Talk, hosted by King Wabi. That is an X Spaces hosted on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, we also have a brand new show called Ape Time with BB. Make sure to tune in for that as well. We ran our first show on Thursday of last week. Looking forward to this week. We're going to continue to kind of learn from how to do these shows in the most efficient and entertaining way as possible. But yeah, I mean, it's a very much more catered towards our degens, our on-chain degens, our meme coiners, our leverage degens. But even if that's not your market, I guarantee you'll be entertained. So give it a shot. That's Thursday, same time that we typically have Market Check, which is 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard. But yeah, that's it from us, guys. We hope that you enjoyed the show. I hope that you had a great holiday, spent some time with your friends, family, away from the charts. But yeah, we will see you guys for another episode of Market Check tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but Wednesday. And as we depart, just going to run a little advertisement for the BB terminal, which will be your go-to tool for trading. Whether you are a beginner, intermediate, or advanced trader, you will find huge utility. That we have some really exciting developments coming for the BB terminal here very soon. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, I mean, you guys are going to be really, really excited. I'm not going to give away too much in detail because I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to steal its thunder, but we're excited. We know you guys are going to be excited to use the product. So stay tuned. And yeah, thanks again, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Tired of outdated trading tools, confused charts, dozens of tabs, endless stress? You're not alone. Introducing BB Terminal, your all-in-one command center for crypto trading. Track your portfolio, monitor the markets, stay ahead, all in one place. From chaos to clarity, from struggle to success. BB Terminal,